Hello and welcome to day 179 of 365 days of Facebook Live. My name is Jessica Lozano, and what are we doing with my hair? My name is Jessica Lozano, and I'm a women's relationship and feminine embodiment mentor. Wow, rough start there. And I help women have extraordinary love lives with the love of right? Isn't that a yummy, yummy, yummy thing to do in the world? I believe we all deserve to have a delicious, expansive, deep, intimate, fun, light relationship with a man. I really, really do. So this live today is going to be clearly for women. And I want to talk to you about Yoni Sadhana, what it is, why would you want to do it, and like what are the benefits from it. I can't remember what the first three questions I wrote in the description box or whatever you want to call it, but I'm just going to go ahead and just start sharing with you what a Yoni practice is, a Yoni Sadhana practice is, who it's for, and why would you want to do it? Why would you want to connect to your Yoni like this? So a sadhana is a spiritual practice that you do daily in order to create alignment and balance in your life. Just looking at my notes over here. To create alignment and balance in your life. So it is not something that has to be really long. It's just something that is done ritualistic in that purpose of creating balance and alignment to become more expressed in your authentic self, right? And yoni, as we know, is a Sanskrit word for pussy, for vagina, for the female genitalia. So I love the word yoni. I think it has a sensual aspect to it. It has a more of a spiritual vibe to it, in my opinion. That's how I feel. And I feel it's just a little bit more softer than pussy, or, vagina seems a little bit more clinical. So I like Yoni Sadhana. So it's a spiritual practice with your pussy that you are doing to connect and have more authentic expression with her. Why would you want to do this? Why would I have created this, first of all, and why would I want to do it? The inspiration came from one of my mentors, Jillian Palthier, when she had this, I'm in one of her groups that I can't believe she's closing it down. But she has this group, and one of the masterclasses that she did was called Pussy. And she talked about this. I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking amazing. She didn't have any guidance on it that I saw. So I just created one for myself. And I was just blown away at how connected, how profound this very simple practice. This does not take a lot of resources for you to do. It's just you and your body, right? A mirror, and you're just gonna need some oil. It's that basic. You can definitely create a really beautiful altar for yourself, or you can do it very basic. There's really the intent. Like with any practice, it's all about your intention. And I did both. I have really beautiful setups, and I've had times where it was just me, oil, in the mirror, and that's it. So the reason why you want to do this is that most women are very disconnected from their yonis. The idea of looking at your pussy in a mirror is oh my God, I don't know if I could do that. Ew, gross. I don't want to look at her. And I totally fell in that same boat. Before doing all this sexual healing work, I probably would have been really oh, why would I want to do that? But that just shows the level of disgust that women have with their own sacred portal. How did we get to this place where we are disgusted or resistant to seeing the most beautiful, life-giving, literally, portal in the world, and it's attached? We came into earth with it, right? And we may have no problem seeing other women's yonis. We may have no problem if you've ever watched porn, or if you've ever watched some really scandalous, maybe a fans page, or a Playboy magazine. Maybe you have no problem maybe looking at other women's, but when it comes to yours, it's oh, no. How could I? Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to touch her? Why would I want to get intimate like that with her? Like, if we have that level of resistance to her and that level of disgust to her, that's more so the reason that this practice would greatly benefit you. I would even say that you need this practice. Like, we should never feel like we don't want to see our yonis in the mirror. It should be something like of deep interest, right? Like, if we were raised in a world through our mothers, through the feminine line, to appreciate it, to love her, to adore her, to not feel shame of her. Like, if you grew up with a mother who loved her yoni, had no shame on it, who could do yoni massages and breast massage and be very open to that and communicate that, I think we would live in a different world where women would appreciate their bodies and appreciate their yonis, and definitely treat it like the diamond that she is. Like, the diamond rose is what I call her. Like, we would treat her with such reverence that we would probably have greater sexual experience, like greater meaning more fulfilling sexual experiences, and we wouldn't let any man just come into our sacred portal with their unconscious cock. We would be like, no, we only want a conscious cock to enter, and someone who I've not vetted, but like I've used my feminine discernment and who I feel, yes, like we can have a beautiful, great experience. But women have grown up in this world where we're just so giving of our sex, we're so giving of our pussies, and we don't even ask much of the masculine. How inverted is that? It is so inverted, and we wonder why, like, we have so much pain around the masculine, why we feel so wounded around the masculine, and why there's like a level of disdain and dissonance with men and women, with maybe even in your romantic relationship. So this practice is going to be a bridge of connecting with your feminine body, with the most precious and extraordinarily sacred beauty that you have, right? And like, you get to see what your partner sees, and I feel that is so magical. Like, when I did my first practice, if you read my post, I was like, wow, this is what he sees, this is what he worships, this is what men worship. Men will die for the pussy. Men will pay thousands and thousands of dollars for pussy. Like, they will do that. That just shows you how valuable she is. But do you value her? Do you value her? Like, really? And we don't want to like chastify her, right? We don't want to be like so blocked in on her, because then that's also not, I think that's on the other extreme of too much, like too much protection of her, where then you're just like, that's going to lean into like fear, to sexual suppression and all of those things. So, which of course, this is why this is also a beautiful practice. This is both for women who have experienced sexual suppression, or who had some type of sexual trauma or assault and want to reconnect with this part of your body in a very soft and gentle way. And also for women who just want to connect deeper. You've already been on your sexual awakening path, and you probably have done all the things, but maybe have never, ever, ever really done this. And also, what I've noticed for myself with my partner, it really created a different type of yearning of sexual intimacy with him. A yearning for more like sensual pleasure, a yearning for how he touched me, how I wanted to move with him. I also have another powerful story to share about that, which I'll talk about it later. But it'll create a more intimate relationship with you, which is going to create an even more intimate relationship with your partner. And if you are single and you're on this path of, calling in your sacred union partner, it's going to help you to really solidify who you are as a woman and close up any of those holes that you have around your body, right? Because just intimately connecting with her, it's just like, it like anchors you also into your root chakra, right? Because your root chakra here is at the base, and your yoni is like literally right at the base. Like it's the bottom of the bottom, right? So this will also help you create safety within your own body, which a lot of women do not have that. Especially if you had sexual trauma, you don't have that, or you're building on that safety in your root chakra. So it'll also help with that. Yeah, and if you've been overgiving with your sex and you want to reclaim the pieces of your sexuality, this is also a really good practice for you. So what you're going to experience is probably going from a place of like maybe feeling numb, feeling like you can't, like when you touch her, there's like a dissonance, like you're not connecting the sensations of your fingers with your yoni and things like that. You maybe even feel a little bit uncomfortable as you start touching her, but that's normal. That's normal. That's because you haven't built a relationship with her. And you might even experience, this is what I experienced when I saw her. I was like, whoa. I was like, it's like a friend that was always there, but you never saw. You know, it's like she's been with me my entire life. And I've even actively worked on healing so much with her, yet I have never splayed myself in front of a mirror to see her and to really connect with her. That in itself was a like mind-blowing experience. Like go read my post about the journal entry of day one. Like it was like I could literally feel that disconnect of like, how could I never have seen you? How could I have never have witnessed you? And I've been with you for 37 years, you know? So that in itself is going to be like worth it from like the whole thing. So you may go from like feeling numb around it to start to feel more sensation, more pleasure, and actually start to feel your own touch. Most of us have never even touched ourselves because we think it's gross or whatever it is, or like, no, it's only something that I do with a man, or only related with our body with a man and never related with our body with ourself. Like that is such a gift. It is such a gift. It is such a different experience, and it creates a level of depth with yourself, which means that the deeper you go with yourself, the deeper you can go with your man, right? If you don't go deep with yourself, you're only going to go to that level of depth with him. And it creates safety within you. The more intimate you are with yourself, the more you know your feminine depth, the more you know all parts of you, the more safety you have with you. And this helps create that. You're gonna feel like the beautiful exploration of your external and the internal mysteries of your yoni and her creational potency and beauty with her as you connect with her. So basically just really getting to understand her, receiving messages from her, you know, like, wow, like looking at all of the intricacies of her. Most women have never done that. I had never done that until this. And it is literally blew my mind. And my clients too. Everyone has the same reaction in the beginning, like, oh, that's what she looks like. You're going to feeling disconnected to your pussy, to falling deeply in love with her and in reverence. More a desire for sensual intimacy. So if you have been sexually suppressed and things like that, you may start to feel like a little bit more arousal, which can happen, which I definitely urge you to not try to have an orgasm. That's like a whole different practice until you're completely done with the Yoni Sadhana. And it'll help if you've only been a woman who's only been able to be stimulated with a vibrator. This is also something that can help you to connect with her and like either wing off the vibrator, which I don't recommend vibrators personally. You know, to each their own, but I've noticed that it definitely has made a difference in my relationship with my man, with my partner. And also you can get some past sexual memories come up that are meant to come up for healing, because as women we hold on our trauma in our what does one of my mentors say, the trauma's in the tissues or something like that. But yeah, even in our yonis, like we can hold on to some of the trauma from the past, which happened to me, which I'm going to share a post about it, that there was something that I was holding on to in the clitoris area that it didn't come until I listened to my own guided audios. These guided audios are so good. And I was able to see all these memories and connect why I wasn't liking certain pleasures, why I felt a little resistance towards pleasure, specifically around the clit. So that was really crazy and wild to experience, but also it reclaimed my innocence. I remember feeling like innocent, like an inner child who was reclaiming her erotic innocence, right? A lot of children naturally play around with their genitalia and, you know, feel things as a part of the exploration of children, and touching things and smelling things and like, oh, how does this feel? And like a lot of children, I know it's going to sound weird, but have orgasms as young because they're exploring and they're like touching. They're like, whoa, what is this? Like, what happens when I keep doing this? This kind of feels good. So it is natural. And if we can guide ourselves to reclaim that erotic innocence, then we're going to be of such service to our generation ahead of us, right? And if you have children, you're going to be more of service to them, because you're going to not feel ashamed of this part of ourselves, and you're going to know how to relate to them about this. So, and honestly, you're just going to feel a connection to your own woman. Like this program, this 40-day Yoni Sadhana practice is absolutely delicious. It is only $55. It is absolutely going to change the game between you and your yoni and your connection with her. I made it really affordable because I wanted you to be able to be like, okay, yes, I'm in for the experience. You don't need to buy anything else. Just make sure you have a mirror, oil, which you can use coconut oil, olive oil, or like sesame oil. If you have never used, I think olive oil can have, olive oil too, but coconut oil I know can mess with some. I've heard some women feel like it doesn't do well with their microbiome in their yoni. So test it out first to see how it works. But you definitely want to have a little bit of lubricant. And that's it. It's like ritualistic. So it's not about changing and doing something different every day. It's about creating depth with each of the different phases that I have for you, which is 3 different phases. And creating depth, listening to the audios so that you can connect. You don't have to listen to the audios every time. You only need like 30 minutes maximum, 5 minutes to set up, 15 minutes for the practice, 5 to 10 minutes to close the practice and journal. Like that's it. It's not going to take a lot of your time. And it really is a game changer. And I believe all women should be doing this. Every single woman should be having this practice, should be doing this practice. It will bridge that gap. And no matter how far experienced you are, this will help bridge that gap. Absolutely. And I just want to say that experience that I had with the breakthrough with my clitoris and like my inner child, that was on day 30. I was already well into the practice. So when you do something for 40 days, you are going to get to know yourself very intimately with all different cycles of your life. So anyways, that's what I'm going to say. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me. And I would love to answer any of your questions, as a beautiful woman did before. And she replied, she's like, the fact that I feel repelled to do this is a reason why I'm doing it. She's like, just bought it. I was like, good answer, and totally yes. Anyways, I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.